Hey, what's going on, guys? I finally found a video worth reacting to. I wanted to keep it male positive centric because I don't want my channel to be all about bashing modern day feminism and modern day women. That's not what I'm about. I want to speak truth to men, right? And this video, it's a reaction to what Joe Rogan said, and Joe Rogan is himself reacting to some other people like Jordan Peterson, right? And he's gonna say a few things that if you're a man in 2023, I think you should really be listening to. And I think this is one of those indoctrination busting videos where the truth of the Matrix really gets revealed. But anyways, let's start watching this video.
Expression that I've said on this podcast many times, but I'll say it again, is that hard times create hard men. Hard men create soft times. Soft times create soft men. Soft men create hard times.
True.
We are now around soft men and hard times. We're in the time of toxic masculinity, right? Where you could be toxically male, and then if you're suppressing masculinity, you're going to bring on hard times. It doesn't mean
It's facts. If you ban the military, right? If you make all the men in the military wussies, then you're gonna have a problem, right? Who's gonna defend the country, right? You need strong men to defend the country.
masculinity doesn't mean you're mean. It doesn't mean you're angry. It means strength.
Yeah.
It means discipline. It means the ability,
I love the fact that they've shown The Rock. I think The Rock is a great masculine figure in the sense that he displays very high virtuous characteristics like strength and discipline, right? As he's saying.
you need a military. And if you don't think you need a military, you need to go and pay attention to the rest of the world, because there's militaries all over the world that are doing horrific things. If you don't have a military in this country that can combat that and at least act as a deterrent for them doing things, you're going to get taken over. That's what's happened. I mean, look what's happening to Hong Kong, right? I mean, this is a city that essentially doesn't have a military, and they were a British colony for a long time.
I didn't know Hong Kong didn't have a military. That's news to me.
And they gave it back over to China, and they were kind of acting like they were independent until recently. And during the pandemic, they ramped it up, and it's gotten even worse. It's exactly what we talked about. You can't be weak. And in this country, being weak is thought of as a virtue.
It is true. I think in Western society, especially in North American culture, I think being weak is considered a virtue in the sense that people want you to be weak. People want you to be vulnerable. And I think, unfortunately for men, displaying weakness is a sure tell sign that your country is fucked.
Jordan Peterson has a really interesting way of looking at this. And he said it to me once, and it made a lot of sense. He said, people think that you should
Okay, pay attention to this. This is really important.
be weak and you should be docile, and then you should be a pacifist. He goes, no, you should be a monster. He said you should be a monster. You should be ruthlessly and
Okay, I want to actually find this video because I think it'll be really amazing to react to. I want to hear the full thing. Jordan Peterson, be a monster? Oh, okay. I'm thinking. Oh, there we go.
You should be a monster. You know, because everyone says, well, you should be harmless, virtuous. You shouldn't do anyone any harm. You should sheath your competitive instinct. You shouldn't try to win. You know, you don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too assertive. You want to take a back seat and all of that. It's like, no, wrong. You should be a monster, an absolute monster. And then you should learn how to control it.
Facts. I think every man should be a monster inside and know how to control his monster. Yeah.
vicious, and then learn how to control it. And it's that old expression, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
More fact, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in a war. That's profound. Wow. I can remember that statement actually.
An old expression, but it makes sense. Because it doesn't mean that you can't be kind if you're strong. But it does mean you can't be strong if you're weak. If you're weak, you're fucked. And there's a lot of weak people in this country right now that are trying to take control. And they're gathering up all the other weak people and they say, yeah, let's all be weak together.
I don't know about you, but there's this guy called Destiny. This guy is the biggest cuck ever. This guy willingly lets his wife sleep with other men. I think that's the biggest piece of fuckery that you can display, and he's okay with it. In fact, I think he has no problem with it. He supports all that stuff. I don't. Are you kidding me? Letting my woman sleep with them, man, that's stupid.
And they're willing to embrace.
But yeah, so he's one of those weak men that is trying to gather other weak men and say, oh, we should all be super liberal. We should let our women sleep with other men and all types of fuckery, and it's okay to have open relationships and shit like that. Nah, no thank you.
All sorts of ideas that have been disproven, not just disproven, that have caused the deaths of untold millions of people in Maoist China and Stalinist Russia, and it's crazy. And they're short-sighted, and they're short-sighted because in the short term, they want their tribe to win, and there's so many weak people that'll join along with them. There's so many just simple-minded dullards that just want to promote their tribe. Like, you've never seen a dog and a wolf. It's just thousands of years of breeding.
Yeah.
It's the same animal. Which is wild. My
dog and wolf are the same animal, guys.
dog Marshall, sweet as fucking him.
Yeah.
Everybody's his friend.
Yeah.
But he's an ancestor of a wolf.
Yeah.
They've turned him into this thing through thousands of years of breeding. Just like they're trying to do to men.
Do it with the.
Okay.
You should be a monster.
Another one. Okay.
Question is, well, should you turn into a monster? And the answer to that is yes, you should. But you should do it voluntarily and not accidentally. And you should do it with the good in mind rather than falling prey to it by possession, essentially, because that's the alternative. And how does it possess you? Your suffering makes you bitter. Your bitterness makes you resentful. Your resentment makes you vengeful. And once you're on that road, you go down that a little bit farther, man.
You watch all those rom-coms where there's always kind of a beta male guy who's being real friendly and always failing miserably with the women because basically he's lying to himself and to them. He's a persona, face that you show to the world when you're trying to pretend and to convince yourself and others that you're, I would say harmless, but we could say a good person. But a good person isn't harmless. A good person is capable of, well, maybe a good person is capable of anything, but is willing to hold that in abeyance.
Question is.
Interesting. Yeah, I think at some point all of us men have been betas, even me, been too nice, been too kind. I'm not afraid to admit it. Been taught that from early childhood. Oh, be nice to everyone. Have one of those faces that you show to the rest of the world, but have a different face at home. It's just this indoctrination that's actually more common than people realize, especially in men. Not anymore, obviously, not after all the incident that happened. But I agree with Jordan Peterson. You should be a monster and you should know how to control it. Don't let it possess you, but know that you can bring it out at any time. I think that's why I started this YouTube channel. I harnessed all the vengefulness that I had, all the anger, all the hate that I had, and I turned it into positivity, right? Hence my Modern Warrior. Now, if you have been following the channel, you kind of start to understand my rationale and reasoning why I named this channel the way I named it. Okay, another amazing, fantastic video. I don't know if you guys know this guy, Jay Waller. Amazing dude. Let's see what he has to say.
Question is.
If Sterling Cooper goes to take a piss and we're at a restaurant, the first thing I do is look at the girl he's with and say, how the fuck did you get Sterling Cooper? First thing. Like, that's just how we run our offense. In regards to money, the biggest game that we play between the five of us that hang out is who can act like they're going to take a piss and pay the bill behind everybody's back. Gotcha, bitches. Literally do it all the time. I'll go to do it, and somebody would have already done it 30 minutes ago. That's the kind of stuff you want to do with your boys. Or being degenerate, riding through the mountains in supercars. Or if you don't make a ton of money, maybe you go on a hunting trip or do whatever. I'm not shitting on that. I've had that life. It's wonderful. I think social media makes a lot of people happy. That's what I think happiness is, just the gap between expectation and reality.
He touched upon something that I firmly believe in. It's about having that brotherhood of men who are going the same places or in the same direction as you, right? And it's rare. It's certainly rare for me. I don't really have many or any friends that are doing YouTube or trying to grow or have multiple businesses that I'm in touch with. But yeah, have a solid company, guys. Anyways, I think I've reacted enough to plenty of videos. See you in the next one. Peace.